Welcome on into Prediction Friday. I think this one's going to be a spicy one because obviously we know what's at stake. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming to town playing the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium. And there's a lot of things swirling around this game, but I think the ultimate is that the San Francisco 49ers under Kyle Shanahan's tenure are 0 and 4 against this Kansas City Chiefs team. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the matchups. We are going to discuss and predict offensive and defensive players of the game. We are going to drop bold takes for this game, and we are going to do score predictions. And of course, as we do every single Friday, we are going to do our sleeper picks for this game. And I got something to talk about with those sleeper picks. We did have some people win and cash off of our picks last week. We'll see if we can duplicate that coming on up, but you guys already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's get into Prediction Friday right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Shout out to the Sourdough Squad tapping in today. We got a busy Friday. We got a lot of stuff to get into. We are still waiting for the 49ers official practice reports to drop to be able to determine who's playing, who's not playing, and obviously the big name that we are all waiting to see is if Ricky Pearsall will be able to go for this game. We talked about it earlier, but it does appear that they are trending in the right direction of potentially being up for this one. So we'll have to see. But until then, we can get into all our predictions on this game. I'm excited for this one, man. I've talked about it last week, and I do think the same thing applies for this week. Is although I don't love the fact that the San Francisco 49ers have found themselves, 2-3 to start the season and all of that, I what I do love is getting an early test. I really do think that seeing this group get tested with what they would consider a must-win game already in week 6, I think it really just rewires the mentality. Obviously, we had a rough offseason and it just kind of steamrolled into the season. But I think when you're faced with what this team considered a must win, now publicly they weren't saying it was a must win, but as close to possible as it could be, I think it rewires the mentality. It rewires the focus. It rewires how you approach these games moving forward. And I really do think they're going to carry the same energy against the Kansas City Chiefs because they have not beat this team under Kyle Shanahan's tenure. This is a big win for a big game for the franchise, man. Not because it's going to change anything of the past, not because it's going to all of a sudden make things okay. It's a mental hurdle that you got to get over, and it starts with a W this week. So, man, this is going to be a big game. I do believe that. I think that when we get into Levi's Stadium this Sunday, it is going to have all the energy and vibes of a playoff matchup, as close as you can get for a game in October. So that's why I can't wait to be there. I will be getting into the game using TickPick. You should get into the game as well. No hidden fees, best ticket prices on the planet. You already know, if you guys haven't used TickPick, man, you are missing out. It's one of the fastest growing ticket platforms that is on the market right now. And also, not only do they have no hidden fees, but you go to the app, you get your tickets through TickPick, and you use my promo code SF9ers. You get an additional $25 off your ticket purchases. So that seems pretty solid as well. So I hope to see you guys there at Levi's. Again, I'll be getting in with TickPick. Hopefully, you'll be getting in with TickPick as well. Shout out to our sponsor of our YouTube channel. Now, let's get into it. I like this. Anthony says, honestly, this has been a pretty exciting season so far. Anthony, I don't think you're wrong, man. I know it hasn't been like, the pie in the sky, like just how we drew it up type season, but boy, you've gotten everything. You've gotten a little bit of everything this year. And as you see, the 49ers are first in the NFC West. They still control their own destiny into getting into the playoffs. They've been hurt, but they're going to get some players back. So it's been a ride. It's been a roller coaster. But to be honest, as long as they end up on the right side of that roller coaster, I'm okay with it. Oh, we got Cheyenne. Let's go. Making the prediction Friday show. Let's get it. Let's look at this roster, shall we? Let's start with the offensive side of the football. Shout out to all the SDS popping into the chat. All right, let's look at this. Let's see the dragon that needs to be slain. Obviously, when you look at this offense is a group that has given us a little bit of PTSD, if you ask me. Look at that. It all starts and stops with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. We all know this. This isn't anything new. I think if you would look at how the Chiefs have played this year, honestly, that they haven't been that great of an offense, except when it comes to closing out and finishing and winning games. Then they've been phenomenal because for whatever reason, when it's go time, Patrick Mahomes has that trait, the trait that can't be measured, the trait that can't be quantified, the intangible winning trait that when the game is on the line, Patrick Mahomes is going to get it done. So that is going to be a huge element into this game, is obviously slowing that guy down. It's really hard to stop Patrick Mahomes. So I think the key here is slowing him down and not giving him extra opportunities. I think with this 49ers defense, as they match up against this, it's taking away what is being presented. It's if Patrick Mahomes is creating outside of structure, if Patrick Mahomes is making plays when things have broken down, he's scrambling and doing those things outside of structure, those are the backbreakers. I really, really do believe that you have to contain him within the structure and stop him within the structure of the play. And you can't allow him to ad lib. When he's out there ad libbing is when he's at his best. I mean, you saw is it the week ago or the week before, him scrambling to get a first down. And you're just looking at this guy and you're like, dude, this guy cannot be stopped. You have to stop him from escaping, creating, and making plays downfield. That is, and we know, in watching this 49ers defense, whether it's, prime Russell Wilson or, guys like Lamar Jackson, they do pretty well within the structure for the most part. It's when it breaks down and these quarterbacks are able to extend plays and hit you with the back breaking play. That is what I want to see the 49ers defense eliminate. Eliminate the back breaking play. Keep him within structure. Try to keep him refined to that part of the offense. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let this guy outside the pocket to be able to free range and to be able to just do the Patrick Mahomes things he does. That's going to be, I think, one of the key elements. Another key element is don't let these guys beat you with jet sweep. I think back to that 2022 game. I think back to that was the first game with Christian McCaffrey and Mecole Hardman scoring 3 touchdown on end arounds. I don't want to see it. And with Xavier Worthy, they have proven that one of the most effective ways to get the ball into Xavier Worthy's hands is on end arounds. So you need to be alert of end arounds heading into this game. You can't let guys like Xavier Worthy beat you to the edge. You have to be able to shut that down and edge contain. And you got to be able to force everything back into the teeth of the defense. You have to force all of these plays back into Fred Warner, back into hopefully Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown and all these guys on the interior of the defense. Don't let them beat you on the edges. And I do think Diamador Lenore could be a huge, huge element to that, because as we've seen with Diamador, what I'm really hoping for this game is we see Mooney Ward, we see Diamador, and we see Renardo. That is what I want to see. I want to see Mooney and Demo in base down. And then when it's nickel package, I want to see Diamador kick into the nickel, and I want to see Renardo Green playing on the outside. That is what I want to see. Now, I don't know if we will see that. I do know that they like Yadam internally, but I think with what we saw from Renardo Green against the Seattle Seahawks, I would love to keep that momentum rolling and allow for Diamador to kick inside. And I do think when you have Diamador playing that nickel spot, he's effectively playing like a linebacker, and he's built for that. And I think if you're talking end arounds, if you're talking trying to stop those plays, I think he can be a great deterrent of those things. So I'm really expecting a big game from Diamador, because I'm expecting him to not be used like he was used in the Super Bowl. I'm expecting him to be able to play that role that he plays outside on base downs, inside in nickel formation. And I think that will be a huge difference of how this defense can scheme against this offense. And again, stopping this Chiefs offense from being able to hit you on the edges. That is really kind of where I am at with this particular game. Shout out to better late than never, as I always say, right, Justin? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But again, Juju Smith-Schuster was questionable. He was limited in yesterday's practice. Andy Reid did confirm that Juju Smith-Schuster will be good to go. So we'll see a lot of Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson. As I mentioned, Mecole Hardman was a guy who absolutely had a day against us. In that 2022 game. But again, they are down Rashee Rice. They are down Hollywood Brown. They're down Isaiah Pacheco. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has returned, but they did add Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt, I think, is a very talented running back. So they can still get after it on the ground with those running backs. So the weapons, although Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown are two top weapons for them that will be out, they still have guys. Xavier Worthy, Juju's been playing well, and obviously we've seen what Mecole is capable of. Sky Moore's kind of been invisible since he's joined this team. So not expecting a whole lot from him, but you never know. You never know. And then we get to Mr. Swift himself, Travis Kelce. Now, it's been confirmed that I believe it's been confirmed as much as I've seen. I'm not going to pretend like I've been tracking this, but I do not believe Taylor Swift will be in attendance for this game. So hopefully some of that witchcraft that she brings along will be with her at her concert. And just I just so no Taylor Swift in this game, or will be at this game, but Travis Kelsey, because I do believe she has a concert that this on the same exact day. So, but Travis Kelsey is again a guy that you need to be able to lock up. Honestly, you need to be able to lock up Kelsey. You need to stop Xavier Worthy's speed, and you need to be able to stop Kareem Hunt's physicality. And then you're putting it on Patrick Mahomes to again ad lib. And that's still a dangerous place to be. So, a lot of things that the 49ers have to do defensively in this game. And the hope is you get the momentum going. That's really what it comes down to is you got to get this play. You got to keep this team off the field is really what it comes down to. You have to get off the field. If you can force 3 and outs, that would be the most ideal situation. Then you give the ball back to your offense and then you play keep away. That's really got to be, I do think, a strategy for this game, but we'll see. Now, let's talk about this offensive line. I think they have one of the top offensive lines in the league. I should say they have one of the top interior offensive lines in the league. You can make the case they have the best interior offensive line when you look at Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. Those guys have been absolutely phenomenal. I think Creed right now you probably consider the best center in the league. So, in from the interior perspective, their interior offensive line is really, really good. And so that is going to be imperative by these defensive tackles to be able to force double teams. Don't allow these guys to get to second level. Don't allow Trey Smith. Don't allow Thuney or Humphrey to be able to get on Fred Warner, to be able to get on whatever linebackers are playing. You have to be stout as a defensive line group. And so when you look at guys like Evan Anderson, Malik Collins, who I do think will play, even though he did pop up as a DNP this week, I do think that you really have to try to neutralize that interior 3 when it comes to the run game. Now, I do think they can be susceptible to a good pass rush. So if Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa are in their bag, I do think they can take advantage of Wanya Morris and Jawan Taylor. I really, really do think they can do that. Now, obviously, that is tied to coverage, right? Because if Mahomes is able to freely get the ball out of his hands, then a pass rush can be neutralized. So you have to be able to marry rush and coverage together. And if they can do that, and you can attack the edges here, and you can get Floyd and Bosa active, I think that's where you can take advantage of this team. It might be challenging to do so up the middle, but man, you got to get Wanya Morris on an island. He's still an inexperienced offensive lineman. He does have upside, I do believe, but he is still inexperienced for the most part, still young, and it will be a challenge. Jawan Taylor, I think, is pretty mid. So I do think that these are matchups that Bosa and Floyd, Sam O, all these pass rushers, Robert Beal should be circling and just be like, we got to win these matchups. We got to win on the edges. We have to do this. And so I think that's a vulnerability is their pass protection on the tackles. So I was hoping Kingsley Suamataia would be playing in this game because he would struggle very much so against our edge rushers, but he was benched early in the season. They shifted to Wanya Morris. It doesn't look like they will be going to Kingsley Suamataia in this game, although Kingsley has high upside, he is not ready. He is a very, very raw prospect, and that was on full display when they tried to start him earlier on in the year. If he was still starting, I would say that Patrick Mahomes will be running a lot because he really does struggle with technically savvy defensive ends. So that's perfect aligned with Bosa, with Floyd. So still I do believe that the 49ers have the advantage with edge rushers over their tackles, whereas the Chiefs have the advantage on the interior O line over ours, um, for sure. Early on in the process, I did like Kingsley, but one of the things that I kept talking about with Kingsley is I didn't have enough tape on him. You loved the athletic profile, you loved how he could move, and you loved some of his highlights. And I was going off of that. And because the file that I was working off just didn't have BYU tape, so I could never sufficiently study him until I found a resource where I got BYU tape. I was then able to get into the tape and really realized, oh, he is very raw technically. Phenomenal athlete. That hasn't changed. But what I realized in watching the tape was he is very raw, very, very raw. And technique is something that takes a lot of time to really master, to really kind of to really be able to get a hold of. So he went from a guy that I did like early in the process to after getting more information, doing more tape study, I backed off of Kingsley. And so if you guys remember, I went from like liking Kingsley to like I like Blake Fisher. I like that guy. And I even did mention Pooney and Brandon I'm blanking on his name. Brandon Coleman. There we go. But yeah, I liked Pooney originally. As I did more research into Pooney, I kind of changed my tune a little bit. So I think again, the reason why I would want him to play is because he's raw. And I know for a fact that he would struggle with the technical abilities of Bosa and Floyd. So, but they've obviously already made that change. So won't get him, but I do again think that's a place where you can attack. So, all things considered, this is now where we open up again how I think you can get after this team. And I'm curious now of who you guys believe will be the defensive player of the game for the San Francisco 49ers. This is where you drop your DPOGs into the chat. Let me know who you think on the defensive side of the football is going to have a day. I have someone in mind. I think it aligns with kind of the things that we were talking about. I got two guys in mind, actually. I think I might have to go. I might have to go. I might have to go co DPOG in this one because I think there's two guys that can absolutely change the complexion of this game. But I want to see what you guys. I want to see what you guys have to say in the chat of who's going to be the DPOG. And first, right off the bat, Bozzy is dropping Lenore, the hyena. This feels like a hyena game. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Chili says Mustafa. I do expect Mustafa to play in this game. I think he's trending in the right direction. We'll find that out when Kyle Shanahan speaks to the media, so we'll get that figured out. Demo from Joy. I think Demo is a good choice. Invader says, I think on defense, Sam O has a breakout game. Sam O has been playing fantastic. He really has. Phenomenal. Eminem says, Fred and Nick. Okay. I like it. Cheyenne says Demo. Man, if Demo plays in the nickel this game, he's going crazy. I really do believe it. I really do believe it. Put Demo back in the nickel. See what happens. Ward is back. He is former team. Got to get that dub. Roberto says D Winters for DPOG. Oh, Justin wants to see Renardo 2 picks. I hope they play Renardo a lot this game. I really do. I want to see more Renardo. Fred Warner for the great guitar dude. We're not to offense yet. Code DPOG Floyd and Warner. Ooh, I kind of like the switch up. I like that one. Sorensen in his presser alluded to having Warner on Kelsey. I would like that. Mooney Ward redemption game. This would be a great game for Mooney Ward to come out and have a phenomenal performance. I don't think he's played to his standard this year. So if you could get a Mooney Ward game, whoo, what a good time for a Mooney Ward game. Floyd, DPOG, 3 sacks. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you my code. I said it. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going code DPOG, meaning 2 players. I think they're going to both ball out, and it kind of sticks with kind of my thoughts on how this defense matches up. I'm going Bosa. I'm going Demo. I'm going code DPOG. I think Bosa is going to have a multiple sack performance, and I do think Demo is just going to be all over the field. I think he is going to unleash. Like you talk about the hyena, I think he's going crazy. I think he's going to feast this game. I think when you look at Diamador Lenore, his mentality, it feels like it's perfectly suited for a game like this. So I'm going. That's where my defensive players of the games are going to be. I'm going Bosa, multi-sack game. Diamador going crazy. I hope, man. I hope we're gonna need both those guys, but it's gonna be an all hands on deck type of performance. But let's take a look at the offensive side or the defensive side and see what the 49ers offense will be up against. Now, this is going to be a challenge, people. This defense, well coached. You guys remember the 49ers tried to get their hands on Spags this offseason. Kyle Shanahan put in a request. Hey, Spags, you want to come be defensive coordinator for us? And Spags said, nah, I'm good. I'll stay on this side, which again makes sense. I don't know why Spagnuolo would jump ship to make a lateral move to a team that you seemingly have their number. And so it is what it is. So we're going up against Spags. Spags is again another. He's going to present challenges probably similar to what we saw against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, it won't be executed the same way, but I do believe that Spagnuolo he's the type of guy who will be able to create some havoc. And when you look at these guys, it's easy when you have Chris Jones, when you have George Karlaftis, when you have guys like Leo Chanel who can get after the passer. So even Derek Nandi's no slouch either. So, they are down their starting defensive end in Mike Dana. So that will present a challenge to them. But again, I do believe they still got the dogs out there to be able to get after the 49ers offensive line. I really do think that's where we'll see this game won and lost is in the trenches and it starts up front with the 49ers offensive line. I do think that performance against the Seahawks was one of the better performances they've had as a group. Um, I think we've had moments in each game throughout the season where some guys have played better than others and vice versa. And I felt like from a consistency standpoint of all five on the O line, I thought they played decently well, like pretty well. Probably one of their better performances of the season. And they're going to need to take that momentum and put it into their best performance of the season. Because again, Chris Jones, they've already talked about how they're going to be treating him very similar to Aaron Donald. They're going to be having to uh, slide the protections most likely to Donald. They're going to have to try, or not Donald, to Chris Jones. They're going to have to try to double Chris Jones if they can. Chris Jones becomes a very integral part of this because one of the things with interior pressure is the quickest path towards the quarterback is right through the middle. So when you look at this group of Banks, Brendel, and Pooney, Banks and Brendel both struggle with athletic bull rushers. It isn't their strong suit. So this offense is going to have to try to keep from getting Chris Jones in one-on-one matchups. That's really going to be the key for this group. Is they got to have. I think it was either Kyle or it was Forster said it this week. They got to keep four hands on Chris Jones at all times. It's really what it is. If you get one-on-one matchups with Jones anywhere on this offensive line, for the most part, he has a chance to win, and that even against Trent Williams. That's just the nature of the offensive line. Um, and we know Chris Jones can rush from the outside as well. And I think back to that 2022 game where Chris Jones gave Mike McGlinchey nightmares rushing from the outside. And I would imagine that if you're Spags, you're looking at either a matchup on the interior, but if you're on the interior, you can double easier. If you put Chris Jones on the edge, let's say against Colton McKivitz, you can try to scheme up one-on-one matchups with Jones and with McKivitz. And that is where, to me, you need to be able to have chips at the line. Like if you see Chris Jones lined up over Colton McKivitz, you need to either have a tight end in line, you need to have a tight end flex right there in the slot. You need to chip with a running back. You need to chip with Kyle Juszczyk. I really do think that a big part of this game plan needs to be to neutralize Chris Jones and however that happens. Because I think that if you can give Brock Purdy time, Brock Purdy will be able to maneuver through the offense, what's given to him, and to be able to make plays. And with what we've seen from Brock Purdy as of late, in using his legs to create and make more plays outside of structure, as long as Chris Jones is taken care of, let Brock cook. That's really where I'm at. Take care of Chris Jones, let Brock cook, because George Karlaftis is a really good rusher. You got to be prepared for that. You got to be prepared for Leo Chanel. Leo Chanel can play off ball. He could play with his hand in the dirt. Leo Chanel is a savage as well when it comes to rushing the passer. So these are all things that you have to keep into account. And then you got Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton. I think Nick Bolton is probably the most underrated uh, middle linebacker in the league in regards of being one of the best who doesn't get the credit of like being the best. I think Nick Bolton is phenomenal. I thought he was phenomenal coming out of Mizzou, and he's only proven to be phenomenal in the league. So you can't don't you might not Nick Bolton might not be a household name, but he should be because that's how good he is. And Drew Tranquil is no slouch either. He's a very athletic linebacker who can cover up a lot of space. So you have to be. This is a good group, man. This is a good group. And then you got Trent McDuffie. Yes, we remember what Trent McDuffie did the last time we played them. Justin Reed. We remember what they did the last time we played. Brian Cook. Man, I wanted Brian Cook. I wanted the 49ers to draft Brian Cook a couple years ago. I know Justin's in the chat somewhere shaking at the idea that Leo Chanel and George Karlaftis have to play for the Chiefs because those were guys that we wanted to see on the 49ers at one point as well. So it's a good defense. It really will be the biggest test of the year. And I think it comes at a good time. I think it comes at a time where the 49ers offense is clicking, where Brock has been evolving his game, where the offensive line has looked solid. They're as healthy, I think, as they can be. I do believe Jordan Mason plays in this game. I do think that Kittle, I loved what Kittle had to say about this matchup. He said, I'm healthy. He said, I'm finally healthy for a matchup against the Chiefs. So based on how Kittle's talked about this game, he's talked about it like I haven't been healthy when I've played the Chiefs. And so he's looking forward to it from that perspective. Debo Samuel's good. BA's good. This probably will be the first time that we see Ricky Pearsall out there. We don't know how involved he will be if and when activated. But it is an exciting element, another added weapon potentially. And when you look at Ricky Pearsall, one of the things that I was able to watch from him in training camp is his ability to run routes. Dude is crisp. He is fast and he is crisp and he is deliberate and he is on point with his route running. So you get that guy out in space, he looks like a natural separator to me. And if they try to run man on man, you heard Brock Purdy talk about his ability to beat man coverage in a press conference earlier this week. If you can, if you can actually utilize Ricky Pearsall's skill set in this game, where it's you're down Jawan Jennings, but you have Debo Ayuk, Pearsall. I still not again. Pearsall's a little bit unknown, little unproven at this current point, just because we haven't seen him yet, and he's a rookie. So definitely optimistic when talking about Pearsall and his potential impact to this game. But hey, something to keep in mind, something where he could present a challenge and he could impact this game moving forward. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But I am looking forward to it. So I do think when you got to be able to get the run game. I think this. I think if you're Kyle Shanahan and you're calling the game, is you can't be one dimensional. You've heard him talk about the red zone struggles. He attributes a lot of that to not being able to run the ball efficiently enough in that area where everything's kind of condensed and squeezed down. So they got to be able to run the football. I think that's going to be a huge, huge element of this game. Of course, on top of that, I think I think I think this is a big Brock game because when I think of the Super Bowl, I think of Brock more so as just executing the offense, not trying to make mistakes, which again, we didn't have any issues with that. We won a lot of games like that. But with what we've seen this season is Brock elevating elevating outside of structure, creating with his legs, creating second chance opportunities, and making big plays downfield. I think that's the difference in this game is that Brock Purdy plays this game like he's been playing. I really do. I really think that if Brock continues to attack the Chiefs defense like he attacked the Seattle Seahawks defense, I think the 49ers have a really good shot at being able to, again, make them play 11 on 11 football. Make them account for Brock. Make them make them worry about Brock and his ability to escape outside of structure, and I think he's put that on tape. And I think that is a different element from what they've seen from last year. So I do think Brock can absolutely make a big dent in this one. But hey, they're down. They don't have L'Jarius Sneed anymore. So you might just have to expect whoever Trent McDuffie is guarding, which probably most likely will be Brandon Ayuk. Hey, we'll see. We'll see if Brandon Ayuk can shake free and win that matchup against McDuffie. But I think that might mean that we could see this be a Debo game, a Kittle game. Um, I'm not necessarily betting it's going to be a JP game, but I do think JP has to run well. So I think you might know where I'm tilting on this one, but of course, as always, the chat goes first for the OPOG offensive player of the game versus the Chiefs. Who do you guys have in this regard? Who do you think is going to be the guy who stands out the most? Who is going to help contribute to slaying the dragon more than anyone else on this team? Drop your OPOGs into the chat because I want to see. All right, right off the bat, we got George Kittle and then a Kittle again. Kittle with the early runaway lead. And then Joy's saying Debo. This does feel like it could be a Debo game for sure. It does. It really does. Kittle, their LBs aren't great in coverage. That could definitely be something, but it is important to note that with what we've seen is defenses have been bracketing Kittle. They have been taking away Kittle. So it'll be very interesting to see if they do that in this game because that's the ultimate respect, right? Is they don't want Kittle to beat you. They'll let someone else beat them, but they're going to bracket Kittle. So that is something to keep in mind. I feel like we saw that against the Cardinals. Really had an emphasis that Kittle wasn't going to beat them. Now the Seahawks, not so much, and that ultimately bit them in the end. So if you're Spags, you're probably thinking first we got to take away Kittle, then we got to take away Ayuk, and we got to take Debo. Obviously, I mean, duh. But I think they're going to be focused on bracketing the crap out of George Kittle. So we'll see what that looks like. Thomas says Ayuk. Ayuk could be getting a lot of one-on-one coverage in this game, and I hope Ayuk gets the game plan rolling his way. I don't know if it will, but he was pretty bummed out about his involvement in the last year's Super Bowl. I think I think you dial up a couple plays for Ayuk and see what he does. Brian says Pooney because he slows down Chris Jones. That's going to be a matchup I can't wait to see. Dominic Pooney versus Chris Jones is going to be pay-per-view. Get your popcorn ready. Justin says going cowing until it's cowing. O-line, okay. George Kittle. If they bracket Kittle, someone will be open. Good point. We'll see. BA. I got Kittle right for the chickens, so I had to be different for this game. I like it. We got Ayuk. Ayuk is MIA. Hey, we'll see. We'll see if he changes that up. Ayuk has been getting open at times, so maybe it will be Ayuk game. I think it could be a multitude of different guys on this one. BA is due. I do agree with that. That's why I'm saying like he's it. Conventional wisdom might not be pointing towards Ayuk having a good game, but it really could be an Ayuk game. That's why we'll see. Garendo, okay, okay. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go Purdy. I'm gonna have to say this has got to be a Purdy game. This is I know all the hype, easy to talk about the quarterbacks and easy to uh hyper focus on quarterbacks, but I really do think that it's gonna have to be on Purdy. I do think he's going to have to be doing a lot of maneuvering within the pocket. I do think he's going to have to make plays outside of structure. I think he's going to have to keep plays alive, and I think he's going to have to distribute. So I'm going Purdy. If the 49ers are winning this game, Brock Purdy has to play. Brock Purdy's got to play some ball. And I believe you guys know I believe in Purdy to the highest of levels. So I'm expecting that to happen for sure. So I think it's got to be Brock. I think Brock's got to carry it. I think with how we've seen Brock evolve this year, I think that's what we need to see. I think they're going to get pressure, and it's going to be up to him to create outside of structure and to extend plays and keep plays alive, keep drives alive. It's going to be a big Brock game, in my opinion. And man, if not only if he can win this game and perform and outperform, against the one of the league's best defenses, and of course Patrick Mahomes on the other side. Talk about momentum. Talk about momentum. All right, but when we talk about momentum, you know what time it is. It's time to make our sleeper picks. And I'm gonna be honest. Uh, we need to get one because we hit on the Kittle touchdown. We hit on Kenneth Walker touchdown. Missed on Brandon Ayuk overall yards. Oh, so we're gonna get one. We're gonna get one close. Oh, we're getting some practice updates right now. Only players not participating are Jawan Jennings, Jake Moody, and Matthew Wright. Kevin Givens is back. Wide receiver Debo Samuel has shed the blue jersey. And we have Jordan Mason still in the blue jersey. So that's good that we have some practice updates. So that is a good sign. But it does appear no Jawan Jennings for this game against the Chiefs. 49ers, Jawan Jennings doesn't practice for third day in a row. Per Nick Wagner. Debo Samuel not in blue non-contact jersey. While Jordan Mason remains in non-contact jersey. All right. Practice updates coming through. So, again, it does appear that we will not be seeing Jawan Jennings, which again also makes me feel like we will be seeing Ricky Pearsall. I think if Jawan was healthy, they maybe consider not bringing him back. But I think due to the fact that Jennings can't go, that pretty much seals it right there. That pretty much seals it. So I think whoo! Ricky Pearsall, come on down, baby. Ricky Pearsall, come on down. All right. All right. Let's go. Oh, this is interesting. Dominic says over on the rushing yards for Purdy has hit every week. That's honestly a good point. We talked about making plays outside of structures. Oh, and now he's thinking, let's go. Let's make our picks, man. Let's make our picks. Then we're going to do bold takes. And then we will do score predictions to wrap it up as we got our injury updates coming out of. And we'll get the official word from Kyle Shanahan in about 45 minutes. So Purdy, 15 rush yards. 15 rush yards. He had 19. He had 33. My concern with rush yards is sacks. That's my concern with rush yards. That's why I'm not feeling super comfortable with the 15, because he might rush for over 15, but he might also get sacked a couple times. And if he gets sacked a couple times, that's really going to take a hit to I think I might go completions. The over under right now on completions is 20.5. And I think this is going to be a pass heavy game. I do. I'm almost thinking that he goes over 20 completions, but they also want to run the ball. This is a tough one. Chat, I need your help. What are we thinking, chat? Are we thinking 15 rush yards? Should we go with that logic? Hit the over on rushing yards for Purdy over 15. So 16 rushing yards would cash that one. Rush yards, don't overthink it. Okay. We're going with the chat. So we're taking Brock Purdy over 15.5 rushing yards. All right. George Kittle. George Kittle was a popular name. Debo was a popular name. Jordan Mason is basically only an anytime touchdown. Rush touchdown or anytime touchdown. We'll see. They don't have a use check. It's basically we got to pick between Kittle, D, and Ayuk. Kittle, we could go. He gets a reception touchdown. You cash. Reception yards is set at 54.5. So that could be a way we go. He would clear 54.5 in the last 3 of his 4 performances. We could go receptions for Kittle, but again, he could be bracketed, so we'll see. Kittle catching a touchdown. What are we thinking, huh? 2 TDs for the People's tight end. Whoo! Redemption touchdown, Kittle. All right. The chat's liking Kittle touchdown. So I'm going to go with what the chat's saying. Chat is saying Kittle touchdown. All right, let's go Kittle touchdown. And then we got to pick one for the Chiefs. Who do we want to pick for the Chiefs? Man, Kelsey's reception set at 6.5. Whew. Crazy. Hunt over. Juju Smith could be an option as well. Kareem Hunt receiving yards, which isn't, I don't think, a bad idea. I think our head's in the right spot. 15 and a half for him. He had 15 yards last week, only 16 the week before. That's close. That's close. Patrick Mahomes, 22 and a half rushing yards. Do we think Patrick Mahomes has over 2 touchdown passes? Oh, this is a tough one. Kelsey versus Campbell. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Tough one. All right. Yeah, we think Ricky Pearsall will play. Oh, boy. I can't decide. There's too many options. Kareem Hunt, 2.5 receptions. Do we think Kareem Hunt will have 3 receptions in this game? Could he? Or do we think Travis Kelce's going crazy? Patrick Mahomes interceptions? I mean, he's thrown a lot of interceptions. He actually has thrown a lot of interceptions this year. Wow, he's thrown an interception in every single game. I actually think I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes' interception. I think that's it. He's thrown an interception. Wait. Oh, they don't have an interception for Patty Mahomes. Oh, wait. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Pat Mahomes' interception. Patrick Mahomes has had an interception in every single game this year. All right, I'm gonna go with the Patty Mahomes INT. All right, we're gonna lock it in. We're gonna lock this one in. Come on, baby. We need a hitter on this one. All right, I'm gonna show you my picks if you guys want to follow along on this one. All right, let's see. And again, man, if you guys haven't played, again, this isn't betting, it's wagering. It's why you can do it in California. You're basically just picking players that you think will have over under certain stats. So nothing crazy here. And again, if you want to get in and you've never done it before, all you got to do is use promo code SF Niners when you sign up. And again, think of it like if you If you deposit anything and you use my code, you're going to have more money in your account than when you started. So you technically kind of win right off the bat. But these are the picks. If you want to look at it, I went Kittle touchdown, Pat Mahomes interception, Brock Purdy rushing yards. All right. $20. I threw $20 on it. If we win, that gets us 133. Nice and easy, baby. Nice and easy, baby. Let's get it. If you want to copy the picks, there they go. They are right there for you. Shout out to the chat. This was definitely a collaborative effort on this one. Let's get it. Who gets the interception? Demo. Demo undercutting something underneath. I'm going Demo with the pick. Debo pick 6. And that actually transitions us right into bold takes. Let's drop your bold takes into the chat. Let's get it. What are your bold takes for this one? Let me know in the comments below. Get those bold takes out, baby. All right. Bold takes. Bold takes, bold takes. Renardo Green pick 6. Oh, we got super detailed. Purdy takes the snap, fakes it to Mason, hands it to Debo. Here it goes. He got blockers 30, 25, slips a tackle. Debo to the 20, 15. He's gone. Touchdown Niners. They take the lead back 26-24. Oh my gosh. I hope this happens. If it does, we are coming back to this comment. Persall scores a 24-yard touchdown. Now that is bold. Over over under fan running onto the field. Demo's due for a pick. Do you think the pressure is on the coach this week? Yeah, I do think a lot of pressure is on Kyle. Kyle is definitely going to hold a lot of pressure in this one. Bold take Niners come out like they did against the Eagles, dominate the Chiefs. Ooh, I hope so. Jair Brown pick. Mahomes is frustrated and cussing out Kelsey. Ooh. 2 touchdowns for Ricky. Niners get 5 sacks with referees finally calling holding on Bosa. Now that is the boldest of takes that I think I have ever seen. Refs calling a holding penalty against the Chiefs on Nick Bosa. That is bold. Luter smoked someone in the middle of the field. Okay. Isaac Guerrero rushing touchdown. Purdy rushing touchdown. Okay. Pearsall goes for 80 and a tutty. Okay. Refs and NFL owe us minimum 4 holding. Defense scores 2 touchdowns. That's hilarious. Taylor Swift crying after the L. I like that. Okay. Carlson nails a 50-yard game winner. Whew. That would be nuts. That would be too much anxiety for me. Bold take Nick Bosa has 2.5 sacks. That's my bold take. My bold take is Nick Bosa eats this game. 2.5 sacks for the Bear. He's tired. He's tired of those Chiefs, and he feasts on some Patty Mahomes. 2.5 sacks for Nick Bosa. That's going to be my bold take on the day. And now, finally, score predictions. Give us your score predictions. This is, again, the ultimate test of how confident this fan base is. This is how I determine how confident you are for these games. So I want to see, how confident are you? Drop your score predictions in the chat. How confident are you? Oh, this is the first one from Chile, 29-23 overtime. 49ers win. Overtime would give me a freaking heart attack. I'm not going to lie. Overtime would give me a heart attack. 42-19. I would like that much better for sure. 27-17. 30-28. 23-21. 49ers win late. 24-21. 28-20. 26-20. All right. So I think we're all in the same boat on this one. I think pretty much the majority have been one score leads or less, or coming down to the final possession. I agree. I think this one's going to be a one that comes down to the wire again. Unfortunately, I would take a blowout. I mean, nothing would make me happier than seeing a blowout performance, but I just think that it's going to be one that comes down to some crazy ending. I'm going to go a little bit higher for my score prediction. I'm going to go 34-32. 49ers win. Patrick Mahomes trying to drive down into field goal range to kick a game-winning field goal, and that's when Diamador Lenore gets his pick. Ooh, I like that. 34-32, Chiefs with 40 seconds left, driving to get into field goal range. No timeouts. Diamador Lenore pick seals the win. The whole stadium rushes the field. It's our Super Bowl. Oh, man. All right, but we'll see, man. We will see. A man can dream, can he? So again, I think that wraps it up for Prediction Friday. That leads us into Kyle Shanahan speaking at 1:45. So we will hear from Kyle. I think we'll have a much better idea if Ricky Pearsall is active. I think I'll be going on with Aponte. I think he texted me. What did he say? He says 4:30 my time. So I think Aponte and I will be doing a live at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. I'll be going on KNBR at 6, and we're announcing ticket giveaway on Instagram at 6:30. All kinds of stuff going on today. Busy Friday, but always a good Friday. Again, if you want your sleeper picks, get them here. Use my promo code SF9ers. If you haven't played yet, you can get up to $100 deposit match straight into your account before you've even made a play. And of course, if you guys are going to the game, make sure you're using TickPick, cheapest tickets on the internet, and use my code SF9ers in the app for an additional $25 off. Hope to see you guys there at the game. Woo! Big one. It's a big one, baby. So a lot more content coming to you the rest of the day. But Prediction Friday for now, we are out. And hopefully we will be storming the field, at least figuratively, hypothetically. If we really do it, I'm down for it. Let's go. But appreciate you guys. I'm out for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.